In this example, I'm going to show you how to apply an image to a shape, like a sign, a map, something like that. This is my normal startup scene, and I'm going to leave my low poly figure here as a reference, a human being figure. And I'll do number keypad 1 and number keypad 5, which basically goes to front orthographic. I'm using the keyboard shortcut keys, so you can see the shortcuts appear here, or you can always go to the menus. Here we've got like view, for example, and viewport, and here you go, you can have a look, or navigation if you want, and here are all the shortcuts and so on and so forth. By the way, here as well, I can render what I'm looking at for future reference, like a screenshot sort of thing. So I'll move off that, and I'm going to create a simple shape. So my little life belt, the 3D cursors in the center, and I'll do Shift A, Mesh, and I'll go up, and I'm going to go to Cube, and the standard size is 2 units square, tall and wide and deep, and I want to move it up, so I'll do GZ1 and return. Or don't forget, when you do things, I'll do an undo. Don't forget when you do things. So if I do G and Z and I'm moving the mouse, if I right mouse click, that's a cancel. If I do GZ and left mouse click, that applies it and I'm happy. So I'll undo GZ1 unit return, and as you can see, it's sort of on the floor. I'm going to move around SY. And this is what I mean about having my reference figure. So I want to sort of, relate to that. I'll do GX, move it to the side, SY again, GX, left click again. Now you can't see it here, but I'm using a Magic Mouse, an Apple Magic Mouse. So when I do G and right mouse click, the shortcuts don't show up, but I am doing a right mouse click or a left mouse click. So I'll undo that. Now, when you create shapes, I've scaled it up. And if I do N to bring up the toolbar on the right, I'm on item. Can you see the scales here are not 1? I've got a 1.041. So I've been playing around with the size, etc., etc. Now, this means Blender understands that I've changed it from its original proportions. And I want to confirm that as my new proportions. So if I do N, you can see the numbers for scale. I'll roll over here, Control A, and I'll apply the scale, which means now it's all 1, and that's what I want, because sometimes if that's not the case, things can be distorted when we apply things. Now, what I need to do is I'm going to apply a material to it, so I'll go to the little material tab here. I will do new, and it's going to come up in a new slot, and I will call this sign underscore matte, and I will give it a base color here, whatever it is, and nothing happens. And nothing happens because in the top here, I'm in the viewport shading solid mode, and if I go to the third circle, this is the material preview, and now you see the colors come in, and there you go. I'll do a quick save, and I'll call this image example. It doesn't matter what, return, return. And now I want to apply an image. Now I'm going to hide my Blender, and I have on the desktop 3 images I brought in. I downloaded from Unsplash, and I'm on a Mac, so I can just press spacebar, and here's a preview, and I can do right arrow to go through each one. So yeah, you can see I've got a few. So this one looks quite nice. So this is the British Library, again from Unsplash. Spacebar again, and I'll go back down to Blender, and I want to apply that image to this. So on the right hand side again, I'm in the material area, and instead of color, I click on the little yellow circle here, and I can choose under texture, image texture, and then here I can choose open, and here it is, British Library, And I'm in Blender, so I could go up here in the top right and choose like an icon preview here, you see. So I'll choose the British Library one, click on that, I'll do open, and there you go. So you wait a few seconds. Now we have a slight problem. The scale is off and it's wrapping all the way around, which is not quite what I want. I want the image just on the front face, but also here I don't want to repeat it, so I'll do a clip. Single image is fine, that's fine. Now I need to tell Blender I want to resize the image to fit on the front face. So up at the top here, I've got a few different workspaces that I play around with. Yours will be a bit simpler, but you will also have UV editing. UV editing is the process whereby when I click on it, I can tell Blender, and let's zoom out there. I'm doing Control and scroll. There you go. You see, this is my shape. You see, I've gone into edit mode here. This is a cuboid. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rectangles, which are the 6 faces. And you can see how it works. Basically, the map is appearing wherever these faces are. And you can see a lot of the map is outside. So on the right-hand side, I've got 2 windows here. On the left, if I click on the drop down here, see I'm in the UV editor. And on the right, if I click on the drop down, I'm in the 3D viewport. And in the 3D viewport here, I'm going to click on face mode, and then I can click on one face. I'm doing a right mouse click select, or left mouse click if that's what you do. And you can see on the left here, that's where that face is. And I can drag over and do G, but nothing's happening again because we've swapped workspaces. I'm going to scroll along here at the top, and again, I need to go to the material preview. There you go, you see. So when I roll back over, move the mouse over here, I've selected everything, do G, and can you see now it reflects the change. So again, just like normal Blender stuff, S, I will scale it up. And if I want to as well, I can just double tap A, deselect, click and drag on the top, and I can do G, X, left and right, escape to finish, or G, Y, up and down. But what I'm going to do first, double tap A, highlight that, G, X, double tap A, B for box select, or I can just click and drag, it doesn't matter, G, X, double tap A, B, select G, Y, and there you go. But we notice it doesn't look quite the same. It's rotated. You see we have, I think that's Greenland up there, but you know, you can see it's rotated. So we can do the same thing. So I roll the mouse over here, A to select everything, R90, no, it's upside down, R90, R90, or I could have done 180, of course. There you go, that's what I want. And so I'll do SY, bring it down, SX, and there we go. But we have a slight problem because I've got things, because it repeats. When faces don't match, you see they're sort of in there, and I don't want to see anything on these. So I can click and drag over that, S, make it really, 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 really small, G, and just put it in the middle somewhere to just give a sort of pattern, or even really small, G, there you go, in the corner, see, just to give it some color. And I can do right mouse click, A, G, S, really, 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 really small, G, and I can do that on every single face that doesn't need the map. Again, move it out, move around, A, G, S, smaller, smaller, S. And if I do A over here, my mouse is over here, you can see they're all selected now, and you see what's going on. There's the big rectangle, that's the front face, and there are the little rectangles, and I can double tap A. My mouse is over here, so I can drag along, you see, and I can do G, move it, S, smaller, G, if I want to. I could have put them all on top of each other to simplify things, but I just left it out so you can see it. The size doesn't matter for these because they're just a simple color. Double tap A, and over here now, I'm happy with that. Do a quick save, Command S or Control S on the PC, and go back up here to modeling. And there is my image. And if I go to my rendered view here in the top right hand corner, wait a few seconds, it's going to load in, because in my default scene I have, now it's flashing because I'm in orthographic, so number keypad 5, there you go, I have an HDRI. Remember, the HDRI can be set in the world settings here on the right hand side. Can you see here, I've set it all up, and if I want to see that, I can go up to my shading area. Okay, if I go to shaders, and I'll go up here to object and world. Now I've done this automatically with another process, but it's the same sort of thing. You just bring in a material, so this is a little bit complicated, but it works very well. And I'll go back to modeling, and there you go. And of course, if I wanted to, I could do Shift A, mesh, and I can put in a plane, S20, return. There you go, you see, so I've got a ground, and if I were to do a new material, obviously I can add whatever I want, but I'll just give it a simple color, you know, something like that, and save. And I can always add my camera to get a view, and I could find a material online, maybe double tap A to deselect. There you go, you see, so I could make it a grass material or something like that. So I can position it, I'm just scrolling with the mouse, moving around to get a nice position to give me my shape, my scene as it were. And that's how you bring in an image, and that's how you put it on a particular face of a mesh or an object.